You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. He looked good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. Wednesday, July 16th. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. If you're watching us live on YouTube, we appreciate that. If you've subscribed, thank you. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe as soon as possible. That helps us out a ton. Also, if you're watching us live on X, we appreciate that. We are live on X. X has been very, very good to us, so we appreciate anybody and everybody who's been watching on X as well. And of course, you can check out the show on all the podcasting platforms as well. Spotify, iHeart, Apple, you name it. Any place where you get your podcasts, you can check out Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. If there's a place where you get podcasts that you cannot find Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, let me know. But I think I've got all my boxes checked when it comes to the podcasting platforms as well. So anyways, however you partake in or consume the show, we greatly appreciate it. We've been doing this for over 6 months now. We really appreciate our sponsors, everyone who's been watching. I'm excited about the rest of the summer and, of course, the future and the football season and the fall and all the fun things coming on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We do this each and every day, 10 a.m. right here in the Quad Cities. Got a really fun show to get to today, a jam-packed show, a lot to get to. For the second straight day, we're going to start by talking with a former Pleasant Valley standout. Yesterday, it was Will Carius getting ready for his 4th season of professional basketball. Today, we will chat with former Pleasant Valley pitcher, former Minnesota pitcher, and now Colorado Rocky, Seth Clausen. Seth was drafted by the Rockies in the 16th round of the MLB Draft just a few days ago. He's back up in Minnesota right now. He'll head out to Scottsdale, Arizona here in a little bit. But getting drafted in the major leagues, an awesome, awesome thing. We'll catch up with Seth Clausen in just a matter of minutes, so you'll want to stick and stay and check that one out as well. Of course, we talk a lot of Iowa Hawkeyes on here. We talk a lot of Fighting Illini. We try to talk a lot of Cyclones as well, and we're going to catch up with the Cyclones a little bit later on here in hour number 1, because we're going to be joined by the Sportscaster of the Year in the state of Iowa, but now the CycloneFanatic's own Jake Brend. He's our Cyclone expert. Believe it or not, we're like a month away from the start of college football season for Iowa State. They start a week earlier, so I believe they start on like the 22nd or 23rd of August. And here we are, July 16th. So we're about 5.5 weeks away from Iowa State football beginning. So last week, Jake spent the week down at the Big 12 media days. So he has a lot to get to with that. I think he spent yesterday morning at basketball practice. So we'll talk to him. We'll get you caught up with everything Cyclones with Jake Brend coming up a little bit later on here around 10:30. Here, hour number 1 of the show. And then also in hour number 2, some good times right now. Teams in Iowa clinching their ticket on baseball and softball diamonds to head to state. That happened last night. One of those teams, North Scott, heading back to state for their 4th straight season. 6th time in 7 years. They went on the road to Clear Creek, Amana, and got the job done against the 6th ranked team in the state. We will talk with their head coach, Holly Hoelting, coming up around 11 a.m. So the second hour of the show. Pleasant Valley also heading to state as well. We'll talk to them tomorrow. A little bit more on that in just a little bit. So if you missed yesterday's show or Monday's show, go check those out. On Monday, we unveiled our top 10 high school football rivalries on the Illinois side of the river in the Quad City area. We're looking at the Western Big Six, the LTC, the old school LTC, Three Rivers, Old School Olympic, those kind of area teams. I thought it's a really good list. We've got a lot of positive feedback from it, a little negative feedback as well. So go check out that show as well. 7 of us voted on that. Myself, Greg Armstrong, and Mitch Stormer from View from the West, the great Dan Pearson, John Marks, as I throw my pen all over the place. Johnny makes me do that. Nick Bull and Brian Stocking all voted on that as well. So go check that out. Also, as I mentioned yesterday, Will Carius was on the show as well. So check out yesterday's show. Check out Monday's show. A lot of good stuff here on OTA. Before we get to today's guests, we want to get you caught up with what's going on in the world of sports around the area. A little slower time of year when you consider it's the summer, but there's always something going on. And it was a tough night for Caitlin Clark last night, despite the Fever winning. They did take care of business. The Fever knocking off Connecticut, but it was rather close. A little bit of a struggle with Connecticut, 85-77. But you can see right here, late in the game, Caitlin Clark pulling up lame once again, injuring that groin, we do believe. She had 14 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, so a good stat line, but she struggled once again. 4-14 from the field, 1-7 from 3. Really struggling, especially on the road with the three-point shot. And again, right here, you can see the All-Star break coming up, the game coming up. She was going to partake in the three-point shooting contest. Not sure if that's going to happen. They play again tonight, and her availability, I would say, is very doubtful. We'll kind of keep you updated on that, but a tough night for Caitlin Clark and the Fever. The Fever winning, but Caitlin Clark has already missed 10 games this season, could be adding to that total. So we'll see the updates from there, but a frustrating season for Caitlin Clark, someone who'd never missed a basketball game in her career, college, pro, anything like that, when it comes to injury, and she's looking at possibly missing more time. So we'll keep you updated on that as well. Also, the referees, plenty of spotlight yesterday. Caitlin getting into it with one of the referees again. It's a physical league. That's a whole different conversation, and obviously a lot of that goes towards Caitlin. It's pretty obvious in my mind, but that's a different rant for a different day. So the Fever do play again tonight. Big day in the WNBA. 5 games starting at 11 o'clock. I think there's 11 o'clock noon game, 2 o'clock game, and then a couple at night, including the Fever as well. So we will keep you updated on Caitlin Clark as we find out anything throughout the morning on her injury status. We mentioned the softball Diamonds. Congratulations to North Scott. They're heading back to state. Holly Hoelting coming up in hour number 2. Congratulations to Pleasant Valley. Great matchup with them and Muscatine in the MAC. It was Pleasant Valley winning that one 6-1. We'll have a couple of their senior captains on tomorrow's show. So Pleasant Valley softball will be represented tomorrow right here on OTA. And then last night was the Major League Baseball All-Star game. Frustrating a little bit because that used to be like must-see TV for me growing up, and even in recent years. Caught a little bit of it. Obviously, I got 4 boys. Everything's busy. We always have stuff going on, so didn't get to see as much of it as I would have liked. Ended in a 6-6 tie, so they went to a home run swing-off. I don't know if you like that. Don't like it. just keep playing, play another inning, I guess. I don't really know if a home run derby-ish tiebreaker is needed. It was fine. Kyle Schwarber ended up winning it for the NL, so the NL wins that one. So Major League Baseball, a few more days off, and then they'll get back going again. I believe on Friday they'll get rocking and rolling once again. And in a big second half, the Cubs, Cardinals, both in contention. The Cubs playing really good baseball, third best record I think in baseball. So it should be a good run for the Cubs coming up here in August, September, maybe October as well. We'll see. So maybe postseason baseball back on the north side of Chicago. That would be a very good thing if you're a Cub fan. And the Cardinals are competitive right now as well. So plenty to get to when it gets to Major League Baseball. But isn't as interesting because for the second straight day, we're going to start our show off when it comes to interview-wise with a Pleasant Valley standout. Yesterday it was Will Carius. Getting ready for his fourth season of professional basketball back here in the Quad Cities, catching up with family and friends. It was great to catch up with Will. If you missed that interview, go check it out right now on the YouTube page or anywhere you can find the show. Really, really fun interview. But it was a dream come true type of week for Pleasant Valley baseball standout, former Pleasant Valley baseball standout, Seth Clausen, drafted in the MLB. So we're joined now by former Pleasant Valley standout, I guess former golfer now, and now Colorado Rockies, Seth Clausen joins us right now. First and foremost, thank you for doing this and congratulations. It's been a fun 24 or 48 hours, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for having me and excited to talk.
Yeah, obviously a big time for you. Before we started the interview, we kind of talked about growing up and travel baseball and all that kind of stuff. The dream is this. The dream is to hear your name in the MLB draft. Just to hear your name. What did that mean? What was that moment like for you?
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. This is kind of what I've been dreaming of my whole life and since I was a kid. So, it's crazy. And it still really hasn't sunk in yet. That I can call myself a professional baseball player. I think it'll take a while and it'll take until I actually, put a Rockies hat on or one of those jerseys on to kind of realize the significance of it. So it's awesome.
Yeah, you look at it too, Seth, and it's one of those things where you don't know what's going to happen as you go into these things. What was your mindset going into this past couple days, and did you know teams that might like you or not like you, or what was your thought process going in?
Yeah, so I mean, it's always best in one of these, unpredictable situations to go in with no expectations, because honestly, if you get too high up on expectations and a lot of times you'll leave disappointed. So kind of went in there with a level head and just figured whatever happens. If something works out, then great, and thankfully it did. But that had a little backup plan that was going to give it another year or two of training if nothing worked out yesterday. So I'm super thankful that landed with the Rockies, and it's been a crazy 24 hours, but I'm just super excited. So
yeah, take me through those. I mean, obviously you get a phone call, you find out what's going on. Did you get the phone call and what goes through your mind? Tell me that process, because I hope nobody was trying to prank your phone at that point or anything like that. Yeah. When do you realize? Yeah. Take me through the story, because everybody's is unique. Where were you? What was going on when you got that call?
Yeah, so it's actually pretty crazy. So throughout the whole draft, it's like, you have teams contacting you saying pretty much they might take you at this next pick. So that happened to me one time in the 10th round, where pretty much the Dodgers were asking if I was, ready to go, and then they went a different direction. So, that's a little bit of letdown, so you got to keep the hopes up. And then it came around to the 14th round, and I work with a group of agents or advisors, and they kind of do all the communicating with the teams. So the team doesn't have to go directly through the player. They let me know actually like 2 full rounds before I was going to get taken and heard my name called. So, it was it was pretty crazy, and I had to wait about 30 minutes to actually hear the name called and see it up on the screen from when I actually knew that they were going to take me. So
Yeah.
really cool.
What's that moment like? Who's with you? All those kind of things. Because I know it's your name, but I know there's a lot that goes through everybody's journey and is with everybody on their journey. What was that moment like? Who was with you? All that kind of stuff.
And that's the thing. I had my family with me, had a cousin there, and then my girlfriend was there. So it was great. Those are all the people that, support me through thick and thin. And, my family and my brother especially literally come to every single game. He was flying all across the country this whole collegiate season, flying out to, New Jersey, Arizona, California, Texas, like literally everywhere, while dealing with a pretty hard job that he's got. So I can't thank those people enough. They've been there since day one. So it's special for me, but, giving them that opportunity too to, see this happen and go down was really special.
Absolutely. Seth Clausen joining us right now and off the air with Matt Randazzo in the Quad Cities, up to Minnesota. I think Scottsdale's next. We're going to talk about that in a second. But it's been crazy. Did you get a chance to celebrate? Did you have a meal? Did you have what was you had to do something to? We celebrate when my kids get a hit. I figure you should be celebrating a little more to hear your name in the MLB draft. What was the celebration like? Did you do anything fun?
Yeah, first thing we did after the draft was go see my grandparents. They've also been huge supporters. Was on the phone with a lot of different people, old coaches, old teammates, my buddies. Just, a lot of congratulations. But after that, just went out to eat with the parents, kind of just took it in. Didn't do anything too crazy, but had to get back here early this morning. So
did you pay for dinner now? Did they still pay for dinner? Talk us. Oh, come on, Seth. Come on.
Hey, I offered.
All right, that works. What was the pick to click? Was it something nice? Did you get McDonald's? What's going on?
We just went up to a local restaurant up by our house called Jerry's.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, in Claire. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a good place to go. Absolutely. Good owner too. That's one of my guys. So good owner as well. Seth Clausen joining us right now and off the air with Matt Randazzo. You mentioned up in Minnesota now, you head out to Scottsdale. It's going to be a blur for a little bit. I've been doing this for 25 years. I've talked to several of you guys that have been drafted, and I know it does get busy. What's the outlook look like? What's the blueprint? Where does Seth Clausen go from now? And what's the next couple weeks look like?
Yeah. So from what I've heard is I'm traveling down to Scottsdale on Friday. And then pretty much the whole next week is physicals, pretty much lab testing, official signing. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And then the following week is when you actually get into the camp and start working with the coaches and start joining the current players. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, I know that this is a milestone, but it's just another step in the journey. Kind of talk about that, because this is the dream. This is what you want to do, but you want to do it at the highest level possible.
Exactly.
Does this motivate even more to get back to work and do those things that you've been doing for a long, long time?
Absolutely. It's like you said, it's a stepping stone. Obviously, it's a huge accomplishment, but still a lot of work to be done. And the ultimate goal is to make the major leagues. So, there's still a lot of time and work and effort to be put in before that happens. So it's going to be a blast, and it's going to take a lot of hard work and dedication. But, I think I'm ready for it. And it's pretty much what I've worked for my whole life. And I couldn't ask for a better job. So
yeah, you're a professional now. That's crazy. You're getting paid to play the game that you love, which is absolutely awesome. Growing up, was it the Cubs, Cardinals, White Sox? I doubt you were a Rockies fan. Take me through growing up.
It was the Cubs.
Okay.
It was the Cubs. So I've always been a huge Cubs fan. that stemmed from my dad. He was always a big fan of theirs. And then, of course, the 2016 World Series is kind of the peak of my fan experience for the Cubs. So that was really special. And I actually was able to do a pro workout for the Cubs this summer, which was awesome and a really cool experience. It's pretty surreal to get to wear one of their jerseys and pitch on one of their minor league mounds. So
yeah, no, absolutely.
Couldn't be happier with the Rockies, and they've got a system of great people there that have been nothing but supportive and awesome through the whole process.
Not to be mean, but it looks like they could use some pitching, Seth. I mean, it's not been the greatest year at the top, but that's exciting for you because there are opportunities, not just at the big league level, obviously, but throughout that organization to go there and prove yourself. Do you kind of look at those things of like, I got to go do some work and I can make my way up in an organization?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's one of those things you look at, and it's like, obviously you can't control where you go, but you look at the positive aspects of who drafts you, and it's like you said, I think in a little bit of a rut right now, and it's pretty motivating knowing that like you could legitimately make an impact in the next however many years you're playing baseball for their major league team. So really motivating and really cool to know that it's now a real opportunity.
Absolutely. Seth Clausen joining me on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. A couple more for you because I got to go back to Pleasant Valley. My first time covering you, that senior year was pretty special. And you can remind me if I'm wrong. I didn't look it up, but I want to say you won like 31 games, state championship, 4A state championship. How did that experience and those people and those coaches and that organization, that program, help mold you? Because winning is important at every level, and you did it from an early age at a really solid program at Pleasant Valley High School.
Yeah, I mean, I still say that was the most fun baseball I've ever played. Those were all the guys that you really grew up playing baseball with. I was telling you earlier, I played for the Barnstormers and the Hitmen, and those were the guys that were on those teams. So to share that moment and that full season with those guys was so cool.
Yeah.
And to make it all the way, have a historic season like we did, and then cap it off with a state championship was unlike any other baseball experience I've had.
You mentioned calling buddies after you get drafted. I'm assuming those guys that you won that state championship are still extremely close in what you do today.
Yeah, they were texting me right away, and one of my buddies, Brooks Ryder, he was on that team, and he telling me that he already has a Rockies hat on the way. So, I mean, him and along with everyone else has been just huge supporters along the way, and they've been great. So
yeah, you guys were a fun group to cover. It's funny because it's a grind sometime in July, and to get to Des Moines and win that state championship and do what you guys did was a lot of fun to cover for me, more or less for you guys. You got to celebrate it, enjoy it, and all that kind of stuff. Some fun questions before I let you go. You got back to the Quad Cities, but you've been in Minnesota up there. When you get back to the QC, what are the guilty pleasures? What are the things you gotta hit up? What are the places you gotta go to that maybe you miss when you're not in the Quad Cities all the time, food wise?
California burrito is my number one.
Really?
So, yeah.
Okay.
So that is like, I tell everybody up here that I've got the best, like knockoff Chipotle or Panchero's place ever. So I love that. I spend so much time there and getting probably 2 meals there a day that there isn't a whole lot of time for other stuff.
I like it.
Like I said earlier, Jerry's is awesome. Go get some good food, play some golf on the simulators. That's always a fun time.
You mentioned golf, Seth. You allow you're a pitcher, so you're okay to go golf, but you used to be able to swing it. Like you used to be a good hitter. Is the golf swing and the baseball swing, there's that wives' tale out there. You can't do both. You got to do one or the other. Did you find yourself growing up not wanting to do both, or did you golf and play baseball at the same time?
Oh, yeah. I've always been a big golfer. Whether that messed up my swing or not, I'm not totally sure. But I always felt like a distinct difference between the two. But yeah, it's nice as a pitcher only now. That's the last thing on my mind is messing with my pitching mechanics, and that's another thing I'm super excited for is to see some of the courses down in Arizona, and I'm for sure bringing my clubs with me.
Absolutely. Baseball guys are weird. They're superstitious and all those kind of things. Are you superstitious? And if so, what are your weirdest and worst superstitions? Yeah, you are. I can already tell you are.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I mean, I do have a few pairs of cleats and a few different gloves, and sometimes I swap out the combinations of those two. And whatever's working is what I usually go with until something goes wrong, and then I'll switch something up and, move on to the next glove or the next pair of cleats. And but that's really the only thing I wouldn't say I'm super superstitious. Another one would maybe be like wearing sleeves or no sleeves. But yeah, whatever worked the last outing is what I'm doing for the next one.
Yeah, nothing crazy. That's good to hear. Nothing crazy. Yeah. I think I know the answer to this one, but you're a professional baseball player now. If you could be a professional in any other sport, what would it be?
Golf, easy.
Yeah. Who's your favorite golfer?
Yeah. Tiger.
Okay.
Tiger and Scotty. I feel like that's very popular answers, but there's a reason for that, and those guys are both awesome, and just watching those two play is nuts.
Absolutely. A few more for you before I let you go. If you could have dinner with one person in the entire world, anybody, who would it be and why?
Oof, that's hard. I'd go Scotty Scheffler.
Okay.
I am a huge golf nerd. I say Scotty Scheffler just because he seems like such a humble and nice guy. Like, you go out to dinner with him, you probably wouldn't even know he's the best golfer in the world. So I think it'd be pretty cool to pick his mind on different golf tricks and tips. So that'd be pretty sweet.
100%. Absolutely. And before we let you go, you just got that phone call you've been waiting for. You've had other great moments as well.
Yep.
State championship, getting a call from a Major League Baseball team. State championship, getting a call from Major League Baseball. It's like picking your favorite kid, right? Like, it's me asking me like who my favorite kid is.
There's no right answer for this.
But talk about it, because those are some of your greatest moments. Yeah. I won't make you pick one, but I know both are pretty special.
Okay, I will say that the state championship brought a few more tears to my eye than the draft. The state championship was more emotional because it was the end of, that was 10 to 12 years of playing with the same guys. So it was obviously tears of joy, but it was just a weird feeling knowing that was the last time we'd step on the same field with those guys. Now, getting drafted was crazy. My dad shed a few tears, but I was more excited and pumped up for what was to come. But like I said, the state championship felt more emotional because it was the end of something super special, where getting drafted was more so, an opening of more opportunities to come.
More tears for the state championship, more dollar bills for the draft. That's right. Not the bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all.
For sure.
And last one, I lied because I think I said last one, but one more. I always lie. Is there anybody in the area that you lean on now when it comes to being a professional baseball player? We've had guys recently that have done this journey and gone on and done good things. Do you have any? Have you reached out to anybody, leaned on anybody, Minnesota-wise, area-wise, that kind of help you through this process a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, the first couple guys that I've been asking questions to would be, old teammates at Minnesota that have gone through similar situations, who have been drafted in the past couple of years. And then Jack Young, I'm sure you're familiar with him. He was drafted last year by the White Sox, and I actually got to see him last night, kind of pick his brain about the different things that you do right away. So it's really good to get some knowledge from him. I've been texting him all day, different questions. And just this short turnaround, it's pretty overwhelming. So it's really nice to have a guy like that to lean on, and a close friend like that who you can trust. And take any advice from.
And now you're both professional baseball players. Well, I loved seeing it. I loved reading about it. Appreciate you coming on the show, coming on this little goofy show that I do every day. Wish you nothing but the best. Stay healthy. Go out to Arizona, kick some butt, and we'll catch up with you again real soon.
Sounds good. Well, thank you very much for having me. It's been awesome.
Awesome. That is Seth Clausen, former Pleasant Valley standout, and now a member of the Colorado Rockies organization. We got more to get to. You're watching Off the Air on a Wednesday right here in the Quad Cities. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak, with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo, now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Hey, Quad Cities, what's better than Saturday Night IFL football? Saturday Night IFL football with dollar beers. Join us Saturday, July 26th for Fan Appreciation Night as your Steamwheelers take on Tulsa in the regular season finale. This night's got everything. Hard-hitting action, cold beer for a buck, and the wildest crowd in the IFL. Bring your friends, your thirst, and your loudest voice. This one's for the fans. Snag your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets. Brought to you by Bally's Casino.
Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need Mobile Party Experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your Mobile Party Experience today. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. Wednesday, July 16th. I got to remember this Saturday is my anniversary. I just kind of remember that when I saw July 16th. I'm like, wait, 19th is something. So something very important. So I got to remember to do that as well. Also, I got to thank one of my kids. They brought me up a Diet Mountain Dew. They're downstairs cooking breakfast right now. Thank God they're behaving themselves. But my oldest is cooking breakfast for all the other ones. Life is good right now. They're behaving, so that's a very good thing. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for that. If you're watching live on X, we thank you for that as well. And of course, everybody who checks us out via the podcast in the audio form, thank you for that as well. This is one of those times you don't want to be watching or listening on the audio form because the handsome Sportscaster of the Year in the state of Iowa. Jake Brend is on the show. So if you're watching, or you're listening to this, you're like, damn it, I'm missing out on that handsome Jake Brend. What's up, my man? How are you?
I'm good, Dazzo. I appreciate the kind words. How are you doing?
I'm great. Hey, we got a lot of Cyclones to catch up with because everyone keeps talking to me. College football season is right around the corner, and it's super exciting, and everybody's pumped for it. But for you guys, for yourself, people who cover the Cyclones fans in general, it comes quicker than everybody else. It's another week earlier. Obviously, the trip to Ireland is on its way. How ready, how excited is this fan base, is this yourself, for what should be a fun football season?
Oh, I can't wait. 38 days away from kickoff in Dublin.
Crazy.
Does that feel real?
Wow.
Cyclone Media Day is next week, next Friday.
Are you
Because
kidding?
everything gets bumped up a week, so it's
Yeah.
actually during state baseball, state softball. It makes me not envious of being in the local TV game, trying to balance all that out. But I'm pumped. The fan base is really excited. It is coming quick, and it's going to be, probably the most loaded first 4 weeks of an Iowa State season ever. Not based off of just the team, but who they're playing.
Yeah.
Your two biggest rivals in the first 3 weeks of the season.
It's crazy
insane
to think about. And it's funny because I was thinking about you. I was watching your coverage from Frisco, Texas last week and the Big 12 Big 12 Media Days, excuse me. And I want to talk to you about that in a second, but it had me thinking, like, there you are living the dream. Like, it's like the mothership calling you home. Obviously a big Cyclone fan growing up that way, and nothing against, heck, we have Holly Hoelting coming on in just a little bit, the North Scott softball coach. Love high school sports, but you weren't out chasing around that stuff. You were in Frisco, Texas, covering the Cyclones. That's not a bad thing for Jake Brend, is it?
Yeah, it was a really cool event. I've been to Big 12 women's basketball media days and Big 10 women's basketball media days when it was in Minneapolis before, but I'd never been to a football media day, and it is unlike anything I've ever experienced. All the people in one area, and then when you throw Coach Prime and Mike Gundy in the mix, it's a pretty entertaining event. But it was just really cool to be able to, I guess, get a gauge on where all the teams are at. I felt like I've already got a pretty good pulse on Iowa State. We did get some great insight from Matt Campbell, but just to be around the other leagues' coaches, some of the other leagues' media members, seeing where they're feeling that their teams are at, I think it's a very valuable event.
I want to talk about Iowa State obviously in a second, but what was the headline maybe overall, and it might have been Iowa State, but what was the overall headline or take that you got out of Big 12 Media Days last week?
I think it's Texas Tech. It's just that they are all in, and it's going to result in all or nothing. I think they're either going to win the Big 12 and they're going to go 11-1 or 12-0 while doing it and have a real shot to win a playoff game or two with that roster, or it's going to go the other way. They're going to drop an early game. Maybe they drop another game. In this program that really hasn't won anything in 15 plus years, I think they're going to crumble. And that was kind of the sense that I got. And I think if that happens, like if they don't win the Big 12, if they don't make the college football playoff, I think Joey McGuire, the head coach, is going to get fired. And that was kind of the main storyline I felt at Big 12 Media Days, and other coaches talking about just like they went out and spent. And nobody outright said like, oh, well, they better go prove it. But if you read between the lines, it's they went out and spent so much. And if it doesn't show on the field, whoever shelled that money over probably isn't going to be happy.
Yeah, you want some results in your investment, and when that doesn't happen, if it doesn't happen, there's probably going to be some ramifications. What was the most entertaining coach? Is it obviously is it Deion Sanders? Is that the obvious one, or what were the moments and the entertainment value from the coaches as well?
Yeah, it was Deion Sanders. He actually, I'd say his most entertaining moment was he's good friends with Joey McGuire, and he got asked about Joey, and Dion just yells, "Joey, where are you? You got some money!" And he yelled that for like a minute straight. And then he went on a rant. And he's like, "So when Joey spends all this money, you guys are just buttering him up and thinking it's so cool. And when I do it, then..." And he actually made a pretty good point. But pretty much from start to finish, through the highs and lows, Dion was the most entertaining. And then when you've got Mike Gundy there, he was maybe the best soundbite in college football behind Mike Leach before Deion Sanders came along. So getting a listen to Gundy was pretty entertaining as well.
No, absolutely. Jake Brend joining us right now from CycloneFanatic right now on Off Day with Matt Randazzo. Let's talk about the Cyclones. You weren't getting Coach Campbell yelling anything like money or anything like that, but you said he was insightful. And maybe it's the Kirk Ferentz bias in me because I covered him for so long, but I always felt like media days, it's like you're going to get your canned cliches from coaches, and then especially in Iowa City, and you move on. But you said that you got some insightful stuff from Coach Campbell. What did you get? What did you take away from your conversations with the head Cyclone football coach?
Yeah, what I think I've gathered is from people who have been to media days before, there are just not many local media that go to it anymore. And that's not anyone's fault within the local media. I know that my TV colleagues would love to be there. More newspaper people would love to be there, but companies are just cutting costs. So that I think there was 5 of us there. Wow. And I think Campbell recognizes that, and he was just pretty transparent. And he talked about losing the Big 12 championship last year, and he's typically it happened. Well, we're just focusing on today and how we can focus. And he just said, like, we're back in the city where we got our butts kicked. If that doesn't fire you up, then I don't know what will. And I thought with that and talking about the defensive line, which is my biggest question mark heading into the season, he's like, honestly, that's a great question. I don't know yet either. Like that's going to have to work itself out over fall camp. And he admitted to some mistakes last year on, we probably should have played Ike Ezeagu more, looking back at the film. And it was just very not Matt Campbell on a Tuesday presser, where he's about as good as anybody at saying a bunch of words without saying anything at all.
No, most coaches do get that way. It is funny, Jake, because I think back at it, there was, Big 10 media days, Big 12 media days, and it's a little different nowadays. But I remember being where like Big 10 media days were going on, and then like a week and a half we had Iowa media day. So it was like as a station, and that was back when you probably got more, and it's been cut even more. But it's like it's hard to go travel to talk to Kirk Ferentz and 3 guys when you can have whoever you want next week and talk to them next week. Now there's some more time between the two, but yeah, no, obviously, but there are so many things you can cover and get to when it comes to that. Where are you? You mentioned your concerns for this team. I'm curious about that because you mentioned defensive line. Where do you see the strength? I guess we'll start with strengths. Where do you see the strengths? Obviously, that quarterback's really, really good.
Yeah.
Where do you see some of the strengths of Iowa State football? And then we'll talk about some of the question marks or concerns you may have.
Yeah, I'll go quick on my for sure strengths. It's the quarterback, Rocco Becht, the tight end room, Ben Bramer, Gabe Burkle. I think the defensive backs you can throw in that mix too. There is going to be probably 2 new starters, but you've got first team all conference Jontez Williams, cornerback coming back, and a former first team all Big 12 safety and Jeremiah Cooper coming back. So I think with the track record of the defensive back room, I think you can mark that down as a strength, and probably the linebackers as well. I don't know how much you remember last year, but they were down to 5th string linebackers. Yeah. They were so injured. And now all of those guys are healthy, and the 4th and 5th stringers have experience starting. And you get Caleb Bacon back, Carson Willich back, Zach Lovett is back. And that's not to mention a couple of really young players who really stepped up last year that might be pushing guys for starting jobs. So I would put those units as for sure strengths. And then I think the running back is a strength. I'm not positive on that. And I think the O-line has a chance to be a strength, and same with the receivers. But those are all more kind of gray areas. And the D-line is definitely the worry.
Jake, you mentioned the defensive backfield, safeties, cornerbacks. Darian Porter, obviously a Bettendorf grad that just got drafted.
Tough replacement.
Yeah, but with that being said, I had a couple great conversations with him on this show as he got before the season or after the season, excuse me, and then before he got drafted, and he talked about that room that he's leaving, and he's like, there's more NFL players there. Like, he raved about what he was leaving. Obviously, he loved being there, been there 5-6 years, whatever it was, but he talked about he's like, you're going to see more guys from that defensive backfield getting drafted again next year really, really high. You probably feel the same way, that there's some talent in the secondary, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Jontez Williams, he ended 4 straight games last year with a game-sealing interception. Like, he's become a lockdown corner, and the type that they've had for a few years with TJ Tampa, and before that it was Anthony Johnson. So you've got the high-end guys like that, and Jeremiah Cooper is the type of guy who, at safety, if he just puts it all together, he can definitely be an NFL guy. And then there's a couple other players. Tyshawn James, he got thrown in the mix. I believe he was a true freshman. I'm not 100% sure on that. He was either a true freshman or a redshirt freshman. He got thrown in against Kansas last year when they had some injuries. And he had about as rough of a debut as you possibly could. Just getting picked on every single play. And you think it's one of those things where he completely loses his confidence, maybe doesn't see the field. A couple weeks later, another injury happens. He comes in against Cincinnati and is probably the team's defensive MVP that day. And I think that just goes to show maybe the cycle of not just defensive backs across college football, but especially in the Iowa State football program. Pretty much every single good DB at one point got thrown in there too early, too young, and had to learn on the fly. Like Jontez Williams, when he got his first stint, he was opposite of TJ Tampa and got picked on. And now, fast forward 2 years later, he's the lockdown defender. And I think that's become maybe the norm in the defensive backfield.
Little baptism by fire, but it ends up working out in the end. Jake Brend from CycloneFanatic joining us right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. I want to talk about that, and we're gonna bug you again before the season starts about the Kansas State game. But like, it's the first freaking game of the college football season, and everybody's excited about it. And it's not just they're going over to Ireland to play Air Force or Boston College. So I mean, it's arguably, we had Scott Docterman on the show, and Farmageddon is one of those rivalries that are in his top 100, and he talked about how talked to him in like 5-6 years, and I can't remember if this was on the air or when you were talking off the air, but that rivalry is probably going to be even higher than what it already is. It's Farmageddon, and it's in Ireland. Like, how excited are fans? And then maybe talk about the game itself, because this is going to have a huge impact on the entire season. It's not just a game, it's one of the games on the Iowa State schedule.
So I'm going, and it's been hard for me to get out of this mode that it's not a bowl game. It's going to be a vacation. I'm going with my family. We're going to play golf. We're going to drink Guinness. We're going to sightsee. But then when the ball is kicked on Saturday, it is the biggest game of the year for Iowa State, hands down. Not only is it your second biggest rival behind Iowa, your biggest rival in the conference, it's a team that was just picked by the league's coaches to win the Big 12. We saw the absolute disaster of tiebreakers last year, and how heading into the final week of the season, I think 8 teams were still alive to make the Big 12 championship. And you know how every single win against teams at the top of the conference are important. So this win, if you could pick it up over K-State, could be worth 2 wins. I could maybe even argue 3 wins, just with the impact of knocking off one of the top teams in the league and a rivalry game. And it's week 0. It's the first actual football game since the Super Bowl. Sorry, Anthony Becht and the USFL and NFL preseason I don't watch. So for the majority of the public,
yes,
this is the first football game that people will be looking forward to in months, and all eyes will be on Rocco Becht. All eyes will be on Avery Johnson. It is, you can't even state the impact that this game could possibly have on the season as a whole and just the perception of Iowa State as a program.
You mentioned the quarterback matchup right there between Avery Johnson and Rocco Becht. Just two quarterbacks that do so much for their teams. Is it simple to say that the quarterback who plays the best, that team win? I mean, like, how do you start to handicap that? And I remember, and we're going to do this later on, I'm not going to put you to the spot, make you make a pick or anything like that, but what does Iowa State have to do to be successful? I know you've started looking at this matchup. You probably started looking at this matchup when the schedule, I mean, has to go, what's the biggest key factor, I guess, for Iowa State to go overseas and get a victory?
I think it's running the ball. It's not the most exciting thing to say, but I think if Iowa State's able to get 4 or 5 yards a pop, K-State is so good in the trenches on both sides. So you could maybe say that's the key on both sides, is run the ball and stop the run. Or maybe not stop the run for K-State, but limit the run. And that's what I think it comes down to, because K-State is at their best when they're not relying on Avery Johnson to be the offense. Because we saw last year, they lost to Houston. They should not have lost to Houston. They got smoked by BYU. They shouldn't have got smoked by BYU. They lost the Iowa State game because Avery Johnson fumbled the first play of the game and took a safety when they were at the 30-yard line. Like, he is very mistake prone. Maybe that's not the right way to put it. When he makes a mistake, he is like massive mistake prone.
His highs are high, yes, but her lows can be pretty low.
Yes. So I think if you can limit the run, hold them to 4 yards a carry, and make Johnson try and do too much, that's where I think there could be success, just like last year.
I cannot wait for college football, man. I'm an Iowa fan, but I cannot wait for this game. 9:00 in the morning start here. Is that right, or is it 7:00 in the morning?
I think it's 11.
11. It is 11. It is 11. It is
5 o'clock Ireland time.
Okay. When do you go over?
So I fly the Monday before.
Okay. So you're there the week before, and then the game's on Saturday, before. And then do you come back on Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday late afternoon, which is nice.
All right.
A little time to probably stay out at the pub until 4 a.m.
How big is your suitcase, and can it fit a 190-pound 45-year-old guy in it? Probably not. Probably a little too much.
Wait. Well, I got to bring my work gear too, so if you can fit in there with the tripod, I think we can make it happen.
190 is probably being generous, so we'll just leave it at that. But I like to say that 190 is probably being generous. Jake Brend joining me right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. I do want to hit up some basketball with you real quick, because I think you got to see they had availability yesterday. I know it's July and football is the main focus, but what did you take out of media availability with the Iowa State men's basketball team yesterday?
Yeah, I'll hit on Joshua Jefferson first, because I know that's the most pressing topic. He's been seen publicly in a cast. It's a wrist sprain, and I think TJ said it'll be off in 10 days, so it's something very minor. Obviously, you'd like to have him around for all the summer workouts, but it is not the end of the world. My biggest takeaways from the availability, we talked to Milan Momcilovic and Blake Buchanan. When it comes to Milan, Otzelberger pretty much said that he has to stop caring about his shooting percentage. They want him, no matter what the game is, that he has to be taking 10 threes a game. And that they're more concerned about him making 3 to 3.5 than they are him making 2.5 at a 45% rate. And I couldn't agree more. I think Iowa State was at their best last year when he's being aggressive, not only because of, what he can do. We saw it in the NCAA tournament against Lipscomb when he went out and dropped, I think, 27 points. But what that does for the other team, because you've got to face guard him. So it opens up the floor for everybody else. And Milan talked about it too, and he just said this summer has been getting out of the mindset that I've got to be super efficient. Obviously, you want to make as many shots as you want. He wants to aim to be a 40 to 45% three-point shooter, but they're way more focused on him taking contested shots and shots off the dribble because he is their most dynamic scorer. And if he is efficient or if he's making shots, it makes the rest of the life easier for the rest of the team.
No, it's very good points too, and I kind of felt that way last year with him as well. The more he's just free and shooting, the better the Iowa State Cyclones are going to be. When it comes to that team, expectations are going to be high once again. Talk to me about the fan base because you have football season to focus on, and then no matter what, basketball's rolling around. Bill Fentley's always doing a fantastic job. What are the early thoughts of Iowa State basketball? I mean, the roster's there, all those kind of things, the talent's there. What are your expectations for Iowa State men's basketball before we let you go?
Yeah, I think nationally the expectations will be a little bit lower, and that's probably a good thing. I think internally, they'll probably be about the same. But you got to look at it. Last year, they started the year 15-1 and were ranked second in the country.
They cost me some of my wife's money. I put some money on them in the Final Four.
Injuries happened, and stuff never really was the same after that. But regardless of injuries, you can say the team underperformed because that's what happened. And I think the building feels that. I think they're hungry because of that. And the way that they recruited in the portal, I think they're going a little bit back towards the style of a couple years ago. And last year when they went and got Deshaun Jackson at center, he was much more of an offensive-oriented center. And he had some decent offensive moments, but that never really came to fruition. But what I think you saw was the defense maybe fell off because you went from a guy like Robert Jones who could defend the pick and roll at a really high level for a big man and could even guard guards in the perimeter really well for a big man, despite maybe some offensive shortcomings. And I think with what they've got in Blake Buchanan, it's going to be a lot more like Rob Jones on the defensive side. And I think that is, above all else, what they were missing more because the offense no doubt took a step up last year, but the defense was not as elite as we'd grown accustomed to seeing in the first few years of the Otzelberger era. So I think if Buchanan's able to bring that and they can really return to that top 3 defense in the country, I think the offense is going to be able to sustain itself to maybe be just as good, if not better, than last year.
Jake Brend here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Talk about the way Iowa State fans here in the Quad Cities can get all your content. I guess start with CycloneFanatic. I know it's a flagship media, traditional Cyclone media outlet when it comes to getting everything you want with Cyclone athletics. And people here on the eastern side of the state, if you're not locked into the CycloneFanatic, shame on you. You should be. Kind of talk about how people can get involved.
Yeah, CycloneFanatic.com is the easiest way. My job has been completely just renovating YouTube, I'd say, or just bringing new content to YouTube. So CycloneFanatic on YouTube as well. And then I'm Jake Brend TV on Twitter and Jake Brend on Facebook. So those are the easiest ways to consume. And you'll be able to see all the great content that I'm putting out. Chris Williams, Rob Gray. It's the best spot in the state for Cyclone coverage.
That's not a myth. That's an actual fact, and it's been that way for a long time. Also, Iowa Everywhere, the show for the Big 12 is on there as well. Talk about that real quick as well, because I love the fact it's not just Iowa State stuff. It's Big 12 conference stuff as well, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, 90% Big 12 talk, 10% Iowa State talk on Bigger Than 12 on Iowa Everywhere. That's on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get that, or iowaeverywhere.com is kind of the hub to see all the great shows that we do. Who do you have in the Open, Dazzo?
Oh, boy. It's a great question.
I've been struggling.
Boy, you just caught me off guard. I even was like, you know what? It's not gonna be Rory. Is Scotty too obvious?
Probably. I'm just really afraid that this is going to be one of the years where it's a 50-1 guy that we've never heard of. It's going to be a really boring Sunday, like Brian Harmon a couple years ago. I'm not a big Brian Harmon guy.
Hey, that's a JDC guy. Come on now, you gotta be nice. He's a JDC winner. But no, I get what you're saying. No, I can see something like that. I don't think it's going to be but you know what? I love the fact that it gives me I love the timing of it. Everyone thinks I'm crazy, but I remember it used to be, of course, right after the John Deere Classic. It'd be John Deere Classic, and I would always take Thursday, Friday after the John Deere Classic off, and I'd be up early in the morning watching golf, and my wife would be like, "You're sick," and I'm like, "No, I love it, and I can." So I love the timing of it. I just want something good. I want a good finish. All those kind of things. You know what? I haven't given much thought to it. I'm going to have to get somebody on Friday to kind of preview it as well. Maybe Andrew Lehman or somebody like that can come on and chat about it. But no pick for you? Anybody specific? I agree with you.
If I've got to go a top 10 guy, give me Ludwig Oberg.
Yeah,
I think he's due. Yeah. He's been flirting. He's been flirting in these majors. Europeans typically do well in the Open Championship. So give me Ludwig to get his first major.
That's not bad. And you know what? This can be saved. So I can, next time you come on and you're right, we'll play this and get it.
So when he shoots 12 over through 2 days, you can replay the clip.
That's when we'll play it.
Yeah.
If he wins it, I'll get rid of this. So Jake, I always appreciate you. I've gotten great feedback from Cyclone fans here in the Quad Cities that get cranky because we do a lot of Iowa and Iowa State stuff, or Iowa and Illinois stuff, and we don't get the Cyclones enough. So they love the content. Go to CycloneFanatic and get it from Jake. Check them out on all the social media as well. YouTube, CycloneFanatic. You're doing great work. Proud of you. I don't need to be proud of you. You do good work with or without me, but love watching what you do, and keep up the good work. We'll catch up soon.
Perfect. Thanks for having me again, Dazzo.
All right. I appreciate you. That is Jake Brend from CycloneFanatic. Catching up on Iowa State Cyclone football, 38 days away. That's wild. And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I probably could put an Iowa State Cyclone helmet up here. So if there is an Iowa State Cyclone fan out there that wants to see that added, maybe next to the Steam Wheeler, buy me one. Send it to me. I'll put it on there for sure. Hey, we got more to get to. Coming up after the break, we're going to go focus on state softball. The North Scott Lancers heading back to state for the 4th straight year. For the 6th time in 70 years, their head coach, always excitable, always energetic, Holly Hoelting, will join us right after the break. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need Mobile Party Experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your Mobile Party Experience today. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. An exciting time on the Diamonds in Iowa with baseball and softball postseason in full swing, and we are set for state in the state of Iowa on the softball Diamonds, and some very familiar names and teams heading to Fort Dodge next week, including North Scott and their head coach, Holly Hoelting, joining me right now on Off the Air. First and foremost, young lady, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Matt. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, excited for you guys. And I mentioned it's a familiar name. This is your 4th straight trip to state, your 6 and 7 years, but they're all different. And I know they're all special. What was last night like, clinching that berth to go to state once again?
Yeah, I just, you could tell the girls were really composed. And I think that has to do with the fact that our program is kind of set. Hey, that's an expectation for us to go, and not in a pressure situation, more just, hey, this is what we should do. And this is what we're going to do. And we're going to be really confident in what we're doing. And we kind of like being the underdog, apparently, not being the people that are supposed to go to the state tournament. So kind of coming in again, not supposed to win, you're playing away, and trying to change everything into your favor, right? Like, oh, well, we get to score first. That's the good thing. And so just kind of training their brain to think about moments instead of the big goal that we have at the end.
Absolutely. To get what was that the mindset going in last night? Because you do go on the road. It's a tough opponent. Clear Creek, Amana, always a very good opponent. What was that? And then to score first and to get that lead early, that has to help, calm, relax those young ladies. Maybe their head coach relaxes a little bit. I probably not, but talk me through.
I like to get excited.
Yes, a little bit.
To get excited.
Just a little bit. But that had to be important to get off to a great start and to kind of set the tone on the road.
Yeah, I'm really proud of our leadoff freshman. She's a first-year varsity starter for us. She's a shortstop. She actually led off with a double, first at bat, and for her to calm that nerve for her, and then the girls to know, like, yeah, we got this, we can do this. And then we ended up again pushing that 1 run in the first inning, but we kind of preached winning the inning and then winning the pitch and winning the at bat. And so like winning small moments so that we can win the big game. Right. And so we did that. And every time they actually had basically the same inning that we had. So we scored a run, we got through this many batters. They did the exact same thing. So it's like, hey guys, remember, like we just talked about that. So it's 0-0. And then they kind of just pushed from there, and they did feel relaxed, but they felt intense, which is everything you hope in a coach. Like all of your preparation that you've given is that they've embodied that and they're confident what they're doing. And they're not like having this pressure of, oh, can I not do it? It's like, no, I can do it. And I'm going to do it right now. And that's why I love softball. It's 21 outs. Like you don't have to do it in, a minute or two, or like if basketball, if you get on a run, like fast break, you can be down by 15 in the first quarter and you're like, oh God, how are we going to get back from this? Right. Yeah. So I do like that part of the game, but I did think that the girls did a really good job of staying composed and being really confident what they were doing.
We have a team, or you have a team that has, I believe, 1 senior. And so it's a younger team. We'll talk about that in a second, but it is different for a lot of them. I know they've been there, but how do you let them celebrate? Because everyone is different. And I know there's an expectation, and the program has high hopes and high expectations, but for young people to get to go to state, what was that bus ride home last night? And how do you as a head coach allow them to smile a little bit before you guys get back to work, because there's more work to be done?
Yeah, they brought a speaker. I don't know if they've ever really brought a speaker on the bus before, and they were playing music, and we're like, oh no. And so they're playing throwbacks that when I don't think it's a throwback, but they're like, this is a throw, so the energy was there. I'm like, okay, I don't think that's it. That was when I was like in college. And they're like, oh, that was so long, so that was the light atmosphere that we had. And that was kind of the way on the way home. But the youngness that you were kind of talking about and like the celebration part of it, we do have some kids that are in different roles, but we do have 6 juniors. So like that kind of gets overlooked too sometimes when we feel like, oh yeah, we have the 1 senior. But we do have a lot of freshmen this year that are playing a role, which is new for us too. So kind of that like, hey, we have the experience, but we are young, and kind of coupling that, which I love, because then that means you're never in a rebuilding year, right? Because those young kids are feeding off of the juniors. Those juniors have been there. And then hopefully by the time the freshmen are juniors, the new kids are there, so that's the whole purpose, right? Like, I don't really like the concept of a rebuilding year. Like that's not ideal to say, because that means that you think you're going to lose, right? Like, no. And we can win with freshmen. We can win with 8th graders. We can, like that's why softball's great. So they did celebrate a little bit yesterday. We do have some work to do. Don't worry, we still have a lot of things that we can get better at in the next, week, but kind of knowing what are we good at, and let's get really good at that, and then expose our weaknesses in practice so that somebody else doesn't expose them next week.
I want to back you up a little bit to that bus ride, because one, you make me feel really old, because now those songs are probably songs that I don't even want to get into that whole thing. But when you look at those type of moments, and I know you're going to remember, wins and state games and all that kind of stuff. But as a coach, is that kind of some of the things that you're going to remember the most? Those type of memories, the off the field memories. I know people get so locked in on the game itself, and it's what you love to do. It's what these athletes, I love covering the game itself, but I love hearing those type of stories. Is that what makes coaching special? Is those goofy times maybe off the field as well?
Yeah. Like knowing you've made an impact, there's generally kids that this is a really important time in their life. Like they're going to remember this. Like I remember my experiences, and that's because of Lori Duncan. Like that's because of what she built for me. And so knowing that you can be a part of that is huge. And it was perfect timing, that interview that golfer had. I don't remember his name. Did you watch that interview that the golfer, he's like, what's the point? Did you see? He was like a 5-minute interview. Oh, you got to watch it. I can't remember his name in the moment, but it was this concept. He's like, you won the Masters, you won the PG, and you're doing it all for a 5-minute celebration. And then you turn to your wife and you're like, well, what's for dinner? And he's like, well, what's the point? And like, not in a bad way. He's just saying like, that can't be my life, right? Like golf can't be my life. Winning the Masters can't be my life because I'm a dad. Like what you said, like, I want to be a better dad, or I want to leave. And it's not, those 4 letters aren't your identity. And so it's funny that you bring that up, because I've been thinking about that a lot. Like this is a big time in our life, and it's important to me. Obviously I spend my summer, and I get paid big bucks. I get paid big bucks to coach high school softball.
Yeah, I bet.
But like, you're not, you're not doing it for that. You're doing it for the kids that are going to remember that for the rest of your life, or the kids that genuinely look at you at the end of the day and they're like, thanks, coach. Yeah. And it's like, you don't always get that though. You don't always have 12 kids, 13 kids, 15 kids that are appreciative of that. And so knowing that you are making an impact when you have the low moments, or when you have the people that maybe aren't as excited or that are excited, it's like, no, I'm doing it for that kid. I'm doing it for that kid. And knowing that, again, it's not my identity, but it's something I can play a role in to help those kids feel, whether it's more confident, deal with adversity later in life, like pull back a positive memory about high school. God forbid, some people don't have those, know? So
no, it's true.
Like you're spending your whole summer on a softball field, you might as well have some positive memories that go with it, right? If not, then don't play softball. Right? Yeah, no, there's a lot of other things you can be doing as a high schooler. So.
That's so well said. I tell my boys all the time, they do the travel baseball stuff, and it's really good, and it can be a lot of bad as well. And I always say, like, we always remember, my oldest will remember, like, things that we did off the field. I mean, and I didn't travel anywhere when I was old, when I was young. Like I played Little League in Milan, and if I left to go to Rock Island, it was like, wow, we're going to Rock Island. And like, you're in Nashville, and you're throwing axes at some like restaurant. It's like, those are the things I think they'll remember big picture more than, this out or that hit and all of those kind of things. Holly Hoelting joining me right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Coach, when did you know this was a special team? Did you know going in, or was there a time early in the season that you thought, these girls are special and they can do the expectations that we set forth with this program?
We always knew that the expectation was there, right? And with graduating 3 kids and 3 important kids, and mind you, both of our middle infield and a really, really important pinch hitter for us, like we knew they had the potential, but just getting them to believe it. And May was rough. That was one of those things where golf's going on, track's going on, academic award nights are going on. And sometimes we'd have 4 kids at practice. And I'm looking at my assistant coach and I'm like, how are we going to do this? And so it was kind of that middle of the season. We had a rough tournament at home because we played some ranked teams. And that was kind of the turning point for me, is like, we're either going to figure this out or this is how it's going to go. And then they figured it out. Like they took that seriously. They got better every day. And it's July. Like, I can't even believe it's July. Like that's how fast things go. And so if you try to dwell too much on the past or look too far into the future, like you're not getting better in the moment. And so I think they did a really good job of taking every single day for what it was and trying to get better at something. And then those days stack on, right? Like I got better at this, then I got better at this, and I got better at this. And now all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, look at all this evidence that I have that I'm good at this, And so again, you don't have to tell them they're good at their stuff because it's proven that they've worked that hard entire June. So really proud of them.
You guys go to state from the MAC, and I love this. This conference is so good, and it made so many long June and Julys for me, which is okay. It's okay because there was a lot of and it wasn't always that way though, Coach. It really wasn't. Like my younger years, and I'm going to make myself feel young or old. It wasn't. We probably didn't invest as much going to Fort Dodge. Now things were different. You can't just hop on a laptop and send stuff. I'm really dating myself right now, but it wasn't always the way it was. And now our area is so well represented each and every year at the state softball tournament in Fort Dodge. They should move the darn thing a little closer to us because we do a good job, right?
I agree.
And no offense to Fort Dodge, but Fort Dodge, come on. Anyways, but the MAC is really good, and Pleasant Valley going from the MAC as well. You guys are going. What does this conference do for you guys? Because 14-4, second in the MAC. It's not a MAC championship, but you can. In several years, it happens. Pleasant Valley's done it recently where they didn't win the MAC. And they won a state championship. How does this conference prepare you guys for next week? Because I think it does a great job doing so.
Yeah, I think everybody in the area competes. That's the biggest thing, is no matter what, like even if you're talking about the Pleasant Valleys and the Bettendorfs and the Muscatines, but like we got to compete with West. We got to compete with North. Like those are teams that are going to put pressure on you. And so we really do pull in things like that. Like, hey, like, do you remember playing PV? It was 6th inning. Like we talk a lot about that, especially when we lose. Like we lost to Pleasant Valley twice this year. And that our conversation at the beginning of the year was, this is what postseason is going to feel like. And you either can, step on the gas and fix it, or you can learn from this and feel like, oh, this isn't how I want to feel, and then make that adjustment. And so learning, like, it's okay to lose early, to know how to handle that. Because I think some years when you don't really lose, or if you play in a conference that's not like pushing you or it's not challenging you, when you get to postseason, you're playing teams that are continuing to win. Like Clear Creek Gamana, really good team. Yeah. Sixth or 7th in the state, like minimal losses. Like they're not expecting to lose. So if you play a team early on that also doesn't expect to lose, you know how you're going to handle that. Or for us as coaching, who's going to pitch, who's going to play first, who's going to be in the batting order. And like some of those things are really eye-opening when you get to play them early on, and then you can have those conversations and adjust rather than just being like, well, that game's over.
Yeah.
Like we weren't prepared for that. Right. And so we are really lucky to be in the MAC.
Holly,
and we're a 4A. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Holly Hoelting joining me right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. I want to talk about next week before I let you go, because you head to Fort Dodge, and you guys have had a ton of success in Fort Dodge. Last 3 years is 3rd, 2nd, 3rd. That's a lot of success, Coach. That's a lot of wins. But there's that one that would look good out of those. So with that being said, how this, and you talked about those juniors, they've been there, they've done this, they've been experienced it or on the field with it. That's got to help for next week. And obviously that ultimate goal isn't, this team is nowhere near satisfied just going to state. You talked about expectations. There's high expectations as well, aren't there?
Right. Yes. And we have noticed that those numbers that we have, we don't really have the first one, but I think it's just exciting to compete when we go there. And we really do focus on that first game, because if you don't win the first game, you can't even compete for that. So we always have been the underdog too. We've never been ranked high. So we always have to play a very good team in the first round. And we're playing Norwalk in the first round, which is who we played last year. And we beat them 2-0. And they're also ranked second right now in the state. So I don't think that they're excited. Not excited, I shouldn't say that. I think that they're like, okay, we get another chance at them, right? And so kind of taking that for what it's worth too, and kind of focusing on what we do well, kind of like what we talked about earlier, is like, we need to make sure that we're secure in what we're doing and making people worried about us. And then once we do that, we're just playing a game of softball and just being really grateful to be there. And I know we joke about like, oh, it's all the way in Fort Dodge, but like, that's kind of the fun part. It's like, oh, you get to drive 3.5 hours with your group. You get to stay in the dorms. Like, it's a whole experience for them. And I think it's really exciting to be able to even have that opportunity to perform and to do that stuff. So really excited about next week to be able to have that chance. So.
Absolutely. What is this week? Do you give them today off? Do you how do you prepare for, because it is back to work? What's that look like leading up to next week? Because there's more work to be done. I love coaches because they always smile and they're happy when they win, but you can literally tell a lot of coaches are like, even when I used to be on the field talking to them, they're still thinking, well, I don't like we did this and we need to do that better. So I can just get the vibe from you. You're happy, but there's some work to be done. I know there's some things you probably want to get to before you head to state next week.
Correct. Yeah, we did give them today off because we've been going for about a week here. But then we tell them we got to step on the gas. Like, we've been using that term a lot. Like, step on the gas. Like, you got to get the tank empty. Like, we're not going to save anything for anything, right? So we'll practice this week. Yes, we have to get better at stuff, but I think everybody does. And then kind of looking at, what does Norwalk do? We do have some of that from last year, kind of fine tuning those things. And it's funny because I do coach with Kevin, or I teach with Kevin Tippett. And so we would joke sometimes in the back hallway about like how much film he has to watch versus maybe how much film I have to watch. Mm-hmm. Or like I coached at Pleasant Valley. And so Steve Hillman would be watching film with Brett Algren. They would be doing they're calling out plays from the other team. And I'm like, oh, you guys got to know those. Like, and so for me, like, I see how hard some of those other teams have to work with that. And so for me, it's more like, what can I do to prepare those kids? Because they're doing that. So the kid that they're on the line, or it's like the kid that's in the post, knows exactly what's going to happen. And then that kid feels confident, right? So that's my job this week. My job today is to be like, hey, my shortstop, this is what they're going to do against you because they think you're bad at it. We're going to get really good at it. And then they're going to be like, what the heck, right? Or vice versa. Like, this is what they think we're good at. We're going to do it even better. And then we're going to actually do this too. So that's what my job is, right? And then their job is to just come to practice and work hard and listen. That's it. Yeah. That's all their job is. They don't have to worry about anything because that's what we do on the back end for them. So the job that you were talking about, like being thankful about it and just knowing that we can help them be confident, those moments, like making sure that they have the opportunity to even have that moment. That's my job. And then they get to enjoy the moment. Like, they get to feel the ball. They get to hit the home run. They get to do that. Like, I don't get to do that anymore, but I can put them in a position to succeed. And that's all I can ask for. So.
I love it. I love it. Before I let you go, baseball, softball, one of my favorite sports because of the superstitions. And it's weird because it just seems like it's more in baseball and softball. Is this a superstitious team? And if it is, what are some weird superstitions that these young ladies might have?
They're all weird. And like, honestly, some of the superstitions, you know what I mean? They're high school girls, but some of the superstitions that they have, or I would have had, they don't have. Like, I would have worn the exact same jersey. We would not have changed our jersey, but they changed their jersey. And I'm over here like, are you guys sure? And I'm like, it's not the jersey top. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you wearing a white top versus a gray top isn't going to change. So they braid their hair. They do all that kind of stuff. They're like, oh, I have to have 4 bubbles in my hair. Like, weird things that like wasn't a thing for me. But then I did realize I graduated in 2013. So it's been a while. Like, I think I'm still pretty close out of college, and I'm like, oh no, we're not. So I think they have their own TikTok versions or their own, like, hey, we're going to do this in pregame, or I'm going to go get my energy drink. You know, they have their own stuff, right? And so I just think that it's a little different. And they do they have like little handshakes before they go out to the field. And sometimes I'm like, okay, guys, I'm like, you know what? That's their routine. I gotta cool down a little bit because they're doing their fun stuff. So I think, again, those moments that you talked about, like enjoying some of that and not making sure it's not just so serious all the time. We are having fun and we're playing high school softball. So
my favorite question to answer or to ask on this show is a class clown or a goofball? It seems like a goofy group. Do you have and I mean class clown in a nice way, but do you have one or two players that are always lightening up the mood, if that's a nice way of putting it? Is there a class clown or two on this team?
It's funny because it's the quieter kids to me, and maybe the girls would disagree, but I think Lainey Welch, our catcher, she's a freshman, and she'll just say some off the cuff stuff, and it's like, and I was not prepared.
Yeah.
And then it's our quieter one, Aubrey Tui, which is actually another catcher, but she plays right field. She's also a quiet one in the background, and she'll just say something random, and I'm like, Aubrey, and she'll look at me and she goes, and she just walks away. So I'm like, and it's funny because like those two, like they don't get a lot of recognition, but like Lainey Welch is a freshman that played last year as an 8th grader and hit 4th, and she was the best hitter on our team. This year she is our 3rd best hitter on our team next to Brindley Schroeder, a freshman, Adeline Johnson, 4-year varsity starter. Like, it's funny because some of those kids maybe don't get the recognition that they need or deserve, I guess you would say, but I see them every day, so I think they're great. But Aubrey Tui and Lainey Welch are those kids that are like, that was funny, Lainey. Oh, that was funny, Aubrey. And like, you know, some of those kids, everybody's light when they're around them. They bring a really, really positive atmosphere. So if anybody is in trouble, I kind of just send them their way. So.
I love it. I love it. Coach, it's Norwalk 4A state quarterfinals. I normally in my old job, I would have everything prepared. What's the day? What's the time?
It's a good question. I just looked this morning. I think it's because it wasn't out until
we're so well
recently.
Prepared, aren't we?
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, she might ask me that. I don't have it. No, I'm pretty sure that we play at 12:15
on Monday.
On Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we play at 12:15, and then the next day, if we win that game, we would play at Wednesday in the morning as well, around that 10 or 12:15, depending.
Love it. Well, hey, Coach, I appreciate it. I wish you guys the best of luck. Go get yourself a state championship, and then we'll have more of you guys on the show after you do that. How's that sound?
Sounds great, Matt. Appreciate it.
I love it. I appreciate your time. We'll talk to you real soon. Good luck in Fort Dodge.
Thank you.
All right. Holly Hoelting, the head coach of the North Scott softball team here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, one of the teams heading to Fort Dodge next week. We wish them the best of luck. More to get to. You're watching Off the Air on a Wednesday right here in the Quad Cities. All right. Be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak, with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo, now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Hey, Quad Cities, what's better than Saturday night IFL football? Saturday night IFL football with dollar beers. Join us Saturday, July 26th for Fan Appreciation Night as your Steamwheelers take on Tulsa in the regular season finale. This night's got everything. Hard-hitting action, cold beer for $1 and the wildest crowd in the IFL. Bring your friends, your thirst, and your loudest voice. This one's for the fans. Snag your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets. Brought to you by Bally's Casino.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. Wednesday, July 16th. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I had to move my Diet Mountain Dew. Get me through my morning. You know, some people have coffee. No. For me, it's a Diet Mountain Dew to wake me up. Not every morning, but this morning was one of those mornings. I want to thank everybody who's watched so far on YouTube, X. We appreciate all that as well. It's been a fun show. Now, I know a lot of people, I've gotten a few text messages and one message on social media that was like, hey, it's Steamwheeler Wednesday. Like, what's going on? We are going to be joined by the Wheelers tomorrow. I'm hoping to get somebody in studio as well. We'll kind of tease it like that. But a really good Steamwheeler wide receiver, if that's a good tease, to come on the show tomorrow. He's more available tomorrow than today. So that is the hope that we'll do Steamwheeler Wednesday on Thursday tomorrow right here on the show. So the Wheelers suffering a setback this past weekend, but plenty to play for. They go on the road to Des Moines this week, and then they got the home finale coming up against, I believe, Tulsa. Coming up, heck, it was just in the in the commercial, but I'm pretty sure it was Tulsa coming up in a week from Saturday. So a lot to get to with them. We'll catch up with them tomorrow as well. Also, we just got done talking to North Scott Softball's head coach, Holly Hoelting. Tomorrow we'll have a couple of players from Pleasant Valley on the show to talk about their trip to state coming up next week as well. So plenty to get to this week on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo over the next couple of days. Today's show, Seth Clausen was on, just drafted a few days ago by the Colorado Rockies, the former Pleasant Valley standout who is spent his college career at Minnesota, now heading to Scottsdale, Arizona to work his way hopefully up the Colorado Rockies organization. We also had Jake Brend on. Iowa State fans here in the Quad Cities that bug me that I don't have enough Iowa State stuff on. Jake Brend is our expert. He's the best. Go check that out if you missed it. And as I mentioned, Holly Hoelting from North Scott, if you missed that interview, go back and check it out once again if you need to. So coming up for the rest of the week, we'll have Wheelers and Pleasant Valley softball and a few other things tomorrow. Working on a show for Friday as well. We will have a show next Monday, and then the Randazzos are heading out of town. So feel free to check out, get caught up on all the shows as well. A little vacation as we get ready. Baseball finally done, so we get a chance to take a quick break, and then we'll get back. And man, we have a lot of fun things coming up over the next couple weeks, couple months right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Of course, a new partnership that we are launching with Off the Air. Greg Armstrong and myself launching River Rivals Media. So that'll be a one-stop shop where you can check out this show. You can also check out Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We're going to start an Eye on the East podcast as well. So a lot of fun things to get to, especially with football season right around the corner as well. We have some fun shows that are going to be taking on the road, one of which I'm really excited for the second week of August. I don't want to announce it yet. I want to make sure everything is all lined up before we say something, but it should be a ton of fun with that. So we'll take OTA on the road during football season a little bit as well. I'm looking at maybe doing some Friday shows on the road and a bunch of other things as well. So a lot to get to off the air with Matt Randazzo every weekday morning right here in the Quad Cities and around the area as well. At 10 a.m. Before we let you go, we got to thank our sponsors, as I like to do each and every show. You see their commercials throughout the show. I talk a lot about them on social media, but they've been so great to me. Andy Furman and Godfather's Pizza, Kevin Rafferty Funeral Home, awesome sponsors. Hungry Hobo, that's where we had dinner last night. We had some tryouts, we had a cross-country camp, we had a couple workout, all a bunch of stuff. So at the end of the evening, and finally around 8 o'clock, I said to my wife, we need to get some hobo. So we went and got some hobo, pigged out, went home, went to bed, all that good stuff. So Hungry Hobo, thank you for your sponsorship and your support as well. Quad City Steamwheelers Wednesday moved to Thursday this week. They've been fantastic. Snoop is the best of the best. And of course, MPX, Mobile Party Experience. Really excited about the football season with them. We're going to get on the road and do some fun things with Mobile Party Experience. But if you're having a tailgate, those kind of things as you get ready for football season, your party will go up an entirely another level with Mobile Party Experience. So make sure you check them out, the website, the phone number, all that kind of stuff as well, Mobile Party Experience. And then also, we have a few more sponsors, hopefully beginning in August as well. But if you're interested in having your business part of the Off the Air family, love to have you. Please reach out to me via social media, all that kind of stuff as well. And we'll chat and have some fun and all that kind of stuff as well. So again, thank you to my guests today, Seth Clausen, Holly Hoelting, Jake Brend. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back with another edition of Off the Air tomorrow. Have a great Wednesday, Quad Cities.